Dear colleagues, this is an intumescent cataract. As you can see, the moment I touch the anterior capsule with the knife, a small cloud of fluffy cortex is coming out. Placing some trypan blue to stain the capsule, injecting the viscoelastic, and then again when I start the capsulorhexis with the grease forceps, the cloud fluffy cortex is coming out of the bag and it's forming a small cloud. But these forceps are very versatile and easy to use, so I managed to fashion a round capsulorhexis. It's a rather small capsulorhexis, 5 millimeters or even less than that, but it's good enough. Starting the phacoemulsification, and the nucleus is very leathery, so I'm attempting to do a horizontal chop, and the crack it's going just partially because the phacoemulsification probe went over the middle of the nucleus. I crossed the middle of the nucleus with the phaco needle, and there was no sufficient room for the needle, the phaco needle, to embed into the middle of the nucleus, embed deeply into the middle of that, so it was not a good purchase on the nucleus. So continue to do partially deep cracks. Here it's one that went all the way down to the posterior plate, but the piece is still attached in the middle, which is not a big deal. It's in order to achieve good phacoemulsification, you need to take out the nucleus from the eye, from the bag and from the eye, no matter what's the modality in which you're gonna achieve that. So having more cracks, one went all the way down to the posterior plate, and then I'm starting to chew these flower petals at the edge of the nucleus, and slowly taking them out of the bag and from the eye with the phaco probe, doing more and more chops to have smaller and smaller pieces to emulsify. Will achieve good phacoemulsification at the end. Notice the bevel down position on phaco needle. I try to keep the phacoemulsification inside the bag and not pressing so hard on the foot pedal, just taking the time and emulsifying small pieces little by little. In this way already half of the nucleus is out, and doing further more chops and more smaller pieces. The nucleus, it's slowly but steady is taking it out of the eye. Now the remaining part is flipping, so you notice the central part of the nucleus which have those flower petals that are still attached in the middle. Now that attachment is released, and keeping these small pieces to not fly around into the anterior chamber, taking the time, and that's about it. The phacoemulsification is over. Now the posterior capsule, it's full of small fibers that are easily removed by the aspiration needle, and using the AC maintainer the bag is cleaned up. Injecting the IOL. This is a hydrophobic IOL. You gotta pay attention to this hydrophobic IOL to make sure they are inside the bag with both haptics. I prefer to rotate the IOL and pressing down a little bit to make sure they are inside the bag. Otherwise you can end up with one haptic and the optic inside the bag, and the other haptic, the trailing haptic, inside the sulcus. And in this way, post-op, you're gonna end up with the patient will end up with astigmatism. So to me it's very important to rotate the nucleus and make sure the haptics are covered by the margin of that capsulorhexis. That way it's 100% sure that you are inside the bag with both haptics. Pushing down the IOL, the iris, and release the synechia. You always have this, in these cases of intumescent cataract, you always have anterior synechia, and that's the end of the case. Thank you for your attention.